giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on is so pathetic. This is like giving you a bowl of doggy do, put a cherry on top, and call it a chocolate sundae.
Boy, that last one, I feel
sorry,
like Mike
I forgot about
Huckabee
that
has a
last one.
rejoinder for that one, because I forgot about
Did
that.
you say
Governor.
doggy do?
Doggy do, and you put a little cherry on top.
Like a chocolate
And you
sundae.
call it like a chocolate sundae. And Governor Huckabee?
Governor, have you ever had one of those doggy do chocolate sundae?
I can't say that I've ever had one of those, but apparently Nancy would know what those are like, so I'll just leave that one to her.
Well, she also had
what
some.
a statement.
Yeah,
what
she
a
also
statement.
had some things to say about the economy. You had some good numbers come out, some very good numbers just a couple days ago on Friday. And she says that the May's jobs report shows that strong employment numbers mean little to the families hit with soaring new costs under the Republicans' watch. What do you make of her response to that?
Look, if Nancy Pelosi was given a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, she'd say it was too heavy to pick up and it was going to be labor intensive and it might give her a hernia reaching over to grab it. I just don't even know how to begin to say anything other than, please, God, let Nancy Pelosi continue to be the voice of the Democratic Party for the midterm elections, because it's the best thing that the Republicans could possibly have. And all we need to do is take her words, put it on television, and play it over and over again. Because all those families out there in America who are getting bonuses and pay raises, who have jobs that were unemployed, they're going to say, what la-la land does Nancy live in that she doesn't understand that these unemployment numbers, which are historic, are incredibly good for a lot of people, and especially for minorities who have the lowest unemployment numbers ever in history.
Governor, you understand partisan politics. She's a Democrat.
Sure.
Our president's a Republican. She's got to poke a hole in it. But isn't there not some point at which you can just acknowledge, you know what, when people are doing well, that's a good thing?
Well, you've got to do that, because otherwise you'll lose your credibility, which is what the Democrats have done. I mean, they say they're for certain things. For example, they want to increase minority employment, but when it happens, then they're unhappy with it. They want to move the embassy to Jerusalem until Donald Trump does it, and then they think he shouldn't have. They want to have peace on the Korean Peninsula until we get close to it, and then they don't like the way in which it's being delivered. I mean, you just take a list of anything that the president has done positively, things that have happened in a strong way, and they'll find a way to somehow, you know, dislike it. It's like the man who lived his whole life and he thought the whole world stunk until one day he realized he had Limburger cheese on his upper lip. And it wasn't the world that stunk, it was him. And that's what I think I'm seeing with the Democrats.
I wonder, Governor, whether, you know, when you look at the president's tweets and some of his public comments, he's obviously frustrated with the Mueller investigation, calls it a witch hunt. And maybe that's why he believes some of this good news you're talking about on the economy, for example, is not always breaking through to the American people. But what do you make of this 20-page letter from his attorneys asserting this broad executive power? Certainly, as Alan Dershowitz and others have said, firing James Comey, the president had the power to do that, whether people like that or not. But do you really believe, as they suggest, that the president basically cannot face obstruction of justice charges? That seems like a broad view, a very broad view of the Constitution.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that he can't face it for firing a person that he had the power to fire. I mean, the magic words in employment in federal or state government, for that matter, is at the pleasure of, which means that a unclassified employee can be fired for any cause. You don't even have to reason. You can just say, you know, I didn't like the tie you wore today. You're gone. That's how it works. It may not be pleasant, but that's how it is.
Can he shut down the whole investigation? Does he have the power to do that?
He may have the power to do it. It would not be a wise thing to do, just because the political blowback of that would be just unbearable. And frankly, I don't think he needs to. This is an investigation that so far has not produced one scintilla of evidence that the president was involved with anything that was untoward. So in a way, the transparency with which he has approached it, and he has been good. But I think his attorneys are dead right when they say they're not going to put the president in a chair facing Bob Mueller. Look, let's go back to the simple thing of the Miranda warning. Jack Webb, on the opening of every dragnet, would say, you have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right, everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So anybody with, you know, enough brain power to get a motorcycle halfway around an English P would understand you don't sit down with the person who's out to get you and start volunteering information and singing like an opera star, because no good will come from that.
Especially if you're innocent. Especially if you're innocent. Yeah.
Especially if you're innocent.
Absolutely. Governor, thank you very much.
We'll
Appreciate
see where
your
this
time.
goes from
Thank
here.
You.
Governor, always good to see you. We love your sense of humor. Makes us laugh.
Thank you very much.
Very
Good to
early in
see
the
you
morning.
guys.
All right, good to see you.
I don't know what an English P is.
Yeah.
Is that a curve or is that an actual P?
You also don't know what miso soup is.
I don't.
We've got
We
a
went
lot to
from
learn.
Doggy do to smelly cheese on your lip to the motorcycle. I don't know.
We're all over the place.
Oy. All right, well, we've got a lot of news. And on a very serious note, I want to bring you some headlines, starting with a Fox News alert and a potential serial killer case in Arizona. Police think a fourth deadly shooting could be related to 3 others in the Phoenix area. The latest victim, a psychologist and counselor, shot dead at an office building. Police already connected the slayings of 2 paralegals to the killing of yet another victim. Prominent forensic psychiatrist Dr. Stephen Pitt. He worked on the murder investigation of Colorado child beauty queen John Benet Ramsey. You remember that one? Police releasing this sketch of what they say is a possible suspect. We'll keep a close eye on that.